Bienvenidos, estudiantes. Welcome back. For this week, we're going to be talking about the imperfecto de los verbos irregulares. So, the imperfect verbs that are irregular. So, to begin with, you're going to open up your course. You're going to go to your class. I'm just going to click this one. Section 2. From here, you will see this if you're on a computer. So since we're still in the 5th 6 weeks, you're going to click 5th 6 weeks. And right there, last week was week 4, and this week we're on week 5. It's still not published, but it will be published by the time you're seeing this. From here, you're going to click on this link, which says click me first. That is what you're listening to right now. It's going to go through the notes, how to do the assignment, where to submit, and all of that. So from here, after you're watching this, then you're going to do these 2 assignments, which is worksheet 5.5. So this time I just decided to name it worksheet instead of week 5.5. So it's the worksheet and then the audio response. Okay, so you have these 2 to submit. From there, all the notes will be in here. So if you click on here, you will have the notes that I will be talking about right now at your disposal, right there. So from there, you can either download them to your computer or print them off. So let's start. We said we're going to talk about the imperfecto de los verbos irregulares. The verbs ser, ir, and ver are the only verbs that are irregular in the imperfect tense. So remember, ser means to be, ir is to go, ver is to see. So something you were, you went, you saw, all in the imperfect tense, but we're talking about, the past, something that had happened. So, for example, right here, I'll just read this first section. Yo era, tú eras, usted, él, ella era, nosotros, nosotras éramos, ustedes, ellos, ellas eran. So, when talking about this, obviously you're either gonna see ser, ir, or ver, and then it's going to ask you to conjugate that, right? So for your examples, right here, you'll see the word son, vamos, and then veo. Son is another form of the word ser, okay? Vamos is another form of the word ir. And veo is another form of ver. So with that being said, if you see the word son, but you don't see the word ser, it is still talking about the same thing, okay? Same with vamos, it's talking about ir, veo, ver. So right here, my questions on my activities would say, replace, change the word to fit correctly in the imperfect tense, So, for example, ellos son de la República Dominicana. So the word son is highlighted, meaning that's the word you have to change. But then you go to your chart and you don't see son. But like I just said earlier, son means said. So, for example, ellos, you look at ellos, and then if it's said, boom, that's your answer. Ellos eran de la República Dominicana. Next example, it's saying vamos muy a menudo a la República Dominicana. So that is saying we go quite often to the Dominican Republic. But we're trying to change that to the past, correct? So vamos, another form of ir. And then that is in the form, nosotros. So you just line up nosotros with ir, and right there is your answer. Íbamos muy a menudo a la República Dominicana. Last example, veo a mis parientes con frecuencia. Veo, so I see my parents frequently. So changing veo, what's another form of veo? Ver. And that's saying yo, like I see my parents frequently. It's veía. So veo changes to veía a mis parientes con frecuencia. All right. So that is the basic gist of, knowing when to use ser, ir, and ver. A little recap, okay? So let's look at this right here. A recap. On your activity sheet, when you see the word tengo or jugaba, corro, gustaba, and then I'm asking you to conjugate it. If you look at tengo, you're not going to find a chart where it has go, okay? Because tengo is already conjugated to the present, but I want you to conjugate it to the past, right? So you have to think about what tengo, what the main, the word, and that it comes from the word tener. Okay, so then from the word tener, then you can go to your chart and see, okay, what does the ER have to change to? Same with like jugaba. You're not going to find the chart for aba, but jugaba comes from the word jugar, but there's the AR verb. So same, corro, it's going to be an ER verb. Correr comes from correr. Gustaba comes from gustar. So why am I saying this? Because this is what we basically went over last week, okay? So in your Schoology notes, so like I said, this is what we're working on this week, imperfecto de los verbos irregulares. But if you don't have last week's chart memorized, which is okay, you can always go back and look at it. I went ahead and put it in here for your convenience, so you can have easy access to it. And what it's going to show you is going to be this, okay? It's just going to have the two charts for the AR ending verbs, ER and IR right here. So AR, ER, IR. So for example, if we went back and we said, tener. So you're going to go to the ER, and depending on what form we're talking about, depending on what form, there are your answers. So is either going to be yo tenía, tú tenías, ella tenía, nosotros teníamos, or ellos tenían, okay? So that's going to be there. So that's a recap, okay? That's going to help you for your activity, your worksheet. So this is an example of one of the questions in your worksheet. Which sentence is using the imperfect word correctly? Obviously right here, it's I don't have all the options, but you're going to see a sentence like this. Ellos siempre van al parque cuando hay un juego de fútbol. Okay, so the word van is highlighted. So remember, van is another example of going somewhere. So vamos, van, so ir. So ellos siempre van al parque. So all I'm asking you is, changing van would go to iban. So right here, ellos iban. So ellos siempre iban al parque cuando había un juego de fútbol. Right here, a lot of us were confused with the I or haber. If we remember correctly, so I'll go back. Give me a second. So we scroll down right here. The imperfect of I is había. Note that either a singular or plural noun follows había. Había un concierto durante la fiesta. Había fuegos artificiales durante la fiesta. So I will always conjugate to había, okay, when it's talking singular or plural. But I is also coming from the word haber. So basically I put that in parentheses because this is where it's coming from. But I will change to había. So we just had we had some confusion on that. And había is the word that we're looking for because that is the past one. I is present, había is past. So in conclusion, after this, we'll be changing to ellos siempre iban al parque cuando había un juego de fútbol, meaning they always went to the park when there was a soccer game. Okay, moving on. So that is basically that. You'll have questions like this and questions like that. The next segment is going to be usos del imperfecto. In addition to expressing repeated habitual actions or events in the past, perfect is used to describe persons, places, objects, events, weather, dates, and time in the past. So right here you have examples for appearance, for age, for physical condition, emotional state, attitudes and desires, location, date, time, and weather. Read those on your own. You'll basically have a sentence right here. Tenía 2 años la niña. This is talking about age. It says años, meaning years. La niña, the little girl. So on the right side, or vice versa, you'll have the options, either age, time, date. So you will have to match up which sentence goes with which description. For another example, eran las 6 de la mañana. It was 6 in the morning. And that is talking about time. Era el 12 de enero. It was the 12th of January. And so that is date. Okay, so this is just an example of showing you how these questions will show up in your worksheet. So you'll have examples of sentences, and those sentences will have to match the correct description word. Because if I'm saying hacía bastante frío, it was really cold, that's not going to fit a location because I'm not talking about a location. I'm saying something regarding the weather. So weather right there. That is basically the lesson for this week. Uso del imperfecto and imperfecto de los verbos irregulares. Like I said, go back to this. Watching this video will help you answer your questions, and I will also include the notes below. Okay, for your audio response, as y'all can see right here, my lovely, just audio response, you are going to be answering the questions to the story, okay? So we're going to be talking about La Noche Vieja en España, which is like basically saying the New Year's in Spain. And this chapter is talking about celebrations. So just a little kind of story talking about how Spain celebrates New Year's Eve. I will leave this up to you for you to read it on your own. So basically, let me go and show you. So in your 5th 6 weeks folder, under week 5, under audio response, you're going to have the story right there for your for you to read it. If you, I know some of you like to read it on your own, but if you want to have it read to you, you're just going to scroll down. Down here, it's going to be the first one. I don't know if they'll mix up, but it's titled La Noche Vieja. And that right there is just me reading it to you from top to bottom. So from here to here. And if that is still confusing enough, you can listen to the second one after the first one, La Noche Vieja translated. So that just means I'm reading it to you and I'm translating it as I go. But I want to challenge you to read it yourself first. Try to see what you can gather from reading. Okay, it's pretty simple. And then you have some extra vocabulary words right there. But if you're still having trouble, definitely go back and listen to the translated version. Okay, so after reading this, then you have the questions. Comprendes? Do you understand? So let me just blow this up so you can see it better. So the first question is asking, ¿De dónde es Fernando? Where is Fernando from? And then you have your options. Number 2, ¿A dónde va Fernando ahora para celebrar la llegada del año nuevo? Where does Fernando go to celebrate the new year? Like, where is he now? Okay. Then number 3, ¿Qué hay en la Puerta del Sol? There is Puerta del Sol is a plaza, so it's asking what's at the Puerta del Sol plaza. What's there? Number 4, ¿Por qué estaban todos bien abrigados? Why was everybody wrapped up? Okay, that's one of the new vocab words. Number 5, ¿Cómo comía Fernando las uvas? How did Fernando eat the grapes? And the last question, 6, ¿Cuándo las comía? So we're talking about the grapes. So when did Fernando eat them, aka the grapes? So then you have your options there. So how am I responding this in audio form, you may ask? So after reading it, after reading the story or listening to the story, and I just translated these questions for you. Right here is your script. For your response, this is how you would go. I'm going to be giving fake answers just so you can kind of hear how I plug in the answer, but I want you to give me the real answer from your option choices up here. This is how I would want you to start. 1, Fernando es de Texas. 2, para celebrar la llegada del año nuevo, Fernando va a Texas. 3, Puerta del Sol hay mucha gente. 4, están bien abrigados porque le gustan las chamarras. 5, comía las uvas cada mañana. 6, comía las uvas porque son saludables. And end. So that's basically how I want to hear your response. Remember, I just gave you fake responses, so don't respond with those fake answers I just gave you. So the blanks like that. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and like give you, let's see. I'll give you number 6. So this is how you would answer number 6. 6. Comía las uvas al oír cada campana. Comía las uvas al oír cada campana. So basically, I said he would eat the grapes at hearing each ring from the bell. Okay, so that's how you would answer. So I gave you 6, but that's how you would answer 1 through 5. You were answering in Spanish this time, so I would practice reading the answers to yourself before recording. If anything, you can download this. Actually, I don't know, but you can copy it from here. So those questions are going to be here. And you can just copy all of that, copy it into a Word document, or even write it down. Write in your answers from your option choices, like I said earlier. Practice saying it, practice your words, practice your pronunciation, and then you will submit. Those are the assignments, the 2 assignments that will be due by Friday. This last week, some of you submitted past Friday, but I still accepted it because you were communicating with me the issues you had to get those uploaded. If you have issues, let me know sooner rather than later. That way I could probably figure out what to do and how to help you to get that uploaded. Most of the time it's just making sure you have the latest Adobe Flash Player on your phone, and or half the time it's just, digging through the buttons if you're on your phone or on the computer. Mess with all of the options that it gives you. So I will upload a separate video on screen recording how to upload each assignment, or if you're uploading a printed copy of anything. And I will also upload a separate video later on this week on how to upload work that you missed at the beginning of this 6 weeks. Okay, I already have a bunch of emails of that, so just don't bombard it anymore. I will get on top of those and get those out to you. Thank you guys. I hope you have a great rest of the week, and I will talk to you soon.